And welcome inside the backstage pass to the show number 2 of the day. We love doing the Texas two step so much. We've done it the last couple of days, and some fantastic artists have come on. If you missed anything, always powered by the website, the sportsguyspodcast.com, and presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, friends at Honky Tonk Texas, and Gentle Ben Spirits too as well. So if you missed anything, go to that website or the YouTube channel. Check it out. Make sure you love it. Leave us some feedback, and I take positive or negative feedback on certain things so I can deal with constructive criticism too as well. No, I'm just joking out there too. No, I love to change it up here on the show from time to time, and anytime one of my friends calls me to do music, that's what we do here on the Backstage Pass. The new single she has out is called "Pretending," and it's so much of a jam that I can't get it out of my head. To be honest with you, I've been humming it as I walk about my day or I drive in my car. Shayla Soulier joins us here on the show. What is going on?
Hi, just life and keeping busy and got the new song out, like you said, and yeah, it's been a ride, that's for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, thanks for getting in touch with me, and we're setting everything up, and just so glad to have you back here on the show. Well, it's been a ride for everybody now that it feels like things kind of are opening up again, and people can breathe a little bit and get to more live shows and performances, things like that too. But you've been in this game for a while now, and it's songs like this that make me kind of turn my head and go, "Wait a minute." I know we do a lot of country here too, but you got a special, really cool sound, a really cool vibe with this latest single. Break it all down for me, kind of like how this came together. And we were talking a little bit before the show. You had a great team behind you that helped put this together.
Yeah, I did. This song would not be possible without the people that helped me create it. Yeah, it basically, we actually wrote this song. It was one of my first co-writes during COVID over Zoom, and we actually sat on it for a while. It was written before Touch and Go, for like the first time
Mm-hmm.
that I was on the show with you. And yeah, it was not too long ago, just like I don't know, 6-ish to 8 months ago
Mm-hmm.
that I hit up my A&R and my producer and my co-writer, who is also the producer. And I was like, let's produce this. Like, it's been in my head since we wrote it. And I love the song. I love the lyrics. It just hits home. And I feel like everyone else out there can relate to it too. So let's jump into the session and get this going. And we actually used a lot of the tools that we learned during COVID. We actually pandemic style recorded this song as well. I wasn't able to get out to Toronto, and
Mm-hmm.
my producer jumped on Zoom and remote accessed into my computer, and here we are today.
I love that too. Great. And there's tough times for people, like you mentioned, during that whole pandemic where Canada was kind of, and still some ways was more strict than folks here in the US that could open up things and get live shows out there again and kind of, open up restaurants and just get people back to the kind of the social gathering and get them together. So I know the Zoom rights had to be welcomed, but it wasn't the same thing as stepping in a studio, right?
No, it wasn't. But in some ways, I really appreciated that side of COVID that came, out of it and within the music too. Like, I, being from Canada, and especially where I'm currently living, that will change shortly in a few months, but there's not a big pop scene here. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to write like everyone else did because I'd have to fly to Toronto or Vancouver or LA and do those writing sessions. And it kind of opened a door for me. Like, I wrote more songs during COVID than I probably had in my whole career. Like, just because I was able to, I had those connections at my hands, and yeah, and it opened those doors.
I remember one of the things you told me, and this I went deep into thought for this. I'm like, I read this somewhere, and we probably talked about this behind the scenes. But I love overlapping sports and music on this show. That's just what I do here because it's two of
Yeah.
my favorite things, and that's why people understand sports music, the sportsguyspodcast.com. Anyway, what I'm getting at is you were a competitive gymnast from a young
Oh,
age. And remember you telling me that, and you're not training, competing. Music was kind of the therapy for you. You loved doing it. You love recording it. You love writing it. Take folks through that because they may not know that story about being a competitive gymnast and then having music to kind of do that when you weren't competing and training for in gymnastics.
yeah. I mean, like, I've always had that sporty mentality my whole life, as well as obviously having passion for music, and I was back and forth a lot from gymnastics to music because I obviously they're both very expensive, and we could only we could only do one thing at a time. So I chose to compete at a high level for a while, and I took to music on my own, and
Mhm.
which I honestly wouldn't have had it any other way. Like I competed for about 13 years probably, and training about 30 hours a week,
Mhm.
and I obviously went to music in my spare time after that, and yeah, it taught me so much about my music career than I actually thought that it would. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
going back and thinking about, okay, I just flipped on a 4-inch beam in front of 400 people and I could have killed myself. And,
Mhm.
and it
True.
taught you a lot of life skills that you don't actually realize until you get into the real world and like your career and you start like applying those things to it.
Mhm. And they overlap very well too, because as you know, both are tough industries, and being competitive one is being competitive in another. It teaches you so much about life, and in general, how to keep your head and the focus that you get from. I mean, you're right, putting your body and your mind, and I mean everything on the line, your career, and yeah, the flip on those beams. I'd have broke my neck and be in the hospital if I even tried to attempt to.
I have broken my fair share of bones doing
Oof,
gymnastics. Actually, I just broke my elbow
really?
doing gymnastics.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been doing it, but
Well, I
I
hope you
did.
get better quickly. I hope you do.
Yeah, well, hey, it happened like about 5 weeks ago, and I'm in the
Okay.
recovery stage now. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Yeah, breaking bones—that's a real thing.
I've I had broke a finger. That's as far as I've gotten in life too as well. Hey,
Yeah.
take me back to really a start of where the music comes out, and you really find yourself as an artist, and you really find out who you want to be, and you find your sound too with a song called "No Better," which was one of my favorites that you guys have put out in 2020. Talk about that one, and just how you wanted to evolve from "No Better" to where "Pretending" is right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, No Better was kind of in the middle of my release, like, schedule of my career, and I mean, I love that song. I love No Better. I worked with a team in LA on that single, and it kind of opened some doors in Canada as well. Like, it was part of the CBC Searchlight contest, and it was like top 50 of the producer picks, and it made some good headway in Canada. And I think it kind of opened up some paths in Canada for me to get to where I am today.
It really is, and I know 2021 we met through the fine folks over at Strut.
Mhm.
Touch and Go came out, and I loved that song so much. I said, absolutely, we're going to go a little bit outside the box and do things that we don't normally do here on the show, which is take a
Yeah.
little break from country music and go that direction, which we did.
Mhm.
But it was a very special song. I liked it so much. We had to have you, and I wanted to get kind of an update on how that one is doing across different circuits and paths and things like Spotify and stuff like that. But it's a fantastic song.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, that song was actually wrote and produced and A&R'd by the exact same team that did Pretending,
Mhm.
and they've kind of been my go-to team for since then. And yeah, it's doing great, and I'm still trying to promote it as much as I can, and like the side as obviously Pretending is like my main focus currently right now, but yeah, I'm trying to keep the momentum going on all my music because I had somebody tell me, oh, I don't know, a couple years ago, if there's only 20,000 streams, nobody's heard your song. Like it's new to like the
Mhm.
whole world still, so like keep promoting those songs because it can happen at any time.
That's true. Because the numbers, like you said, is definitely have some of the numbers I hear now. I'm just flabbergasted sometimes. Like, wow, that's what you got on certain streaming network or whatever. Because you mentioned too as well, some artists are just killing. You got to keep promoting. That's a big key in this business. Is like you said, finding the right team, which you've done now, and then putting out some great songs. And two, I'm going to get to here a little bit after the break. Follow the Light. And there was another one called Love Me Better that I loved so much that Shayla had put out there. Again, all these songs we're talking about today, you guys know I do a lot of chronological things here on the show because I love music so much and I listen to it so much every day, are available streaming and downloadable across all the digital platforms out there. Go support the artist as much as you can here. And I always love to make new fans. So leave comments with us in the comment section. We'll get to as many as we can. Quick timeout. Got to pay the bills here. Bangtail Whiskey, our friends there. Bangtail.com, easyliquor.com, or Total Wine and Specs in Nashville. You can pick it up. I was just at Live Oak there in Nashville back in March, and I saw the floor mats. We're playing like washers and all these cool games with it too as well. I got to have several glasses of it. Fantastic whiskey. You can mix it with anything out there. Also, our friends, May 19th, Randall King in Honky Tonk, Texas, will be out there in my backyard here supporting Randall over the next few weeks and a couple of concerts there. And of course, our friends at Gentle Ben Spirits. If you love the drink, the Prosecco process is changing the way people drink today with the gin, the vodka, and the bourbon. And I just want a glass of it right now because I keep talking about it here on the show. But gentleben.com or go by the tasting room in Alvin, Texas. Say hi to our good friend Ricky Ford out there. Quick timeout for our sponsors. More with Shayla Soulier here on the Backstage Pass. A few more songs to talk about. And, of course, coming up here in a little bit, rapid fire. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. That's the technology changing the game. The Prosecco technology. Enjoy the drink. Don't labor through it. gentleben.com. We're going to go by that tasting room in Alvin, Texas. And now the bar is at Minute Maid Park with the Houston Astros. You enter the left field entrance out there. I'm going to be having a drink with Ricky Ford and the guys coming up this summer as I go to some baseball games at Houston. I'm going to call Shayla and say, yes, get you a glass of Gentle Ben, vodka, gin, or bourbon out there too, and see if she's drinking it, and may even send her some in the mail too. You never know, because it's just good stuff out there too. So I love it so much. I love the drink here on the show. Drink responsibly. We love the drink here, and it's such a great mix of drinking, sports, and music. You can't go wrong with those three ingredients out there. Back here with Shayla Soulier on the Backstage Pass, the new single "Pretending" across all the digital platforms. So make sure you guys go check it out. All right, let's go back a little bit with 2021. So shortly after the pandemic, Follow the Light. I want to get the backstory because I got some catching up to do on these particular songs, and also Love Me Better.
Yeah, so those two songs are actually quite old. I held on to those songs. Yeah, I held on to those songs for a long time, and it just didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was at the right time to like release them, and that was when I was like, yeah, let's do this. I wrote and recorded those two songs with like my first team I've ever worked with in music, like back in, I don't even remember the years that those were recorded, like 2016 maybe, 16. So it was quite a while ago, but they're new to everyone else's ears.
Well, it stayed new to me at the time when I heard them. I was going perusing through all the music out there too, and then I get one that's very really cool in a way that I feel like this one means a lot to you so much. And this one here comes from a different side, but this is one called It's You, I Choose. And this came out 2022. Is that correct?
It would have been, I think it was at the top of the year, 2023. Okay. I wrote that though. So how that song was inspired was my two friends got married last summer, and I wrote them a song as their engagement gift, and that was it. And and you know, obviously it holds a close place to my heart. And I was just talking with my team, and we decided that we were going to put a song out before Pretending came out, and that was the one that we chose. And my friends so graciously let me use their wedding video as the music video, and yeah, it was just it's the most like heartfelt project I've released, and yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Tell me about songwriting. A lot of people say songwriting is therapy and just loving to get feelings and emotions out there. Otherwise, you can't just keep it all balled up inside. You've got to really put that out there to create something from nothing. But to see it come to light, songwriting for you, is it therapy?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like I obviously like I love recording and playing shows and all that, but like it starts with music in my eyes. And like a music career starts there with good music that you connect to. And I think when the artist shows that they connect to their music, it allows their fans to connect to the music.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's 150% therapy for me.
When you kind of write your lyrics, do you feel a lot of it too has to come through that personal side of things? You have to live it to kind of put it out there?
Yeah, like I mean, I obviously know how to write a song that has no connection to myself
Mhm.
whatsoever. I have done it. But I personally love writing from personal
Mhm.
like situations. Yeah. Yeah.
Means a lot more, no doubt. And you took one like that I felt when it came out 2021. Love Me Better. Let's break this one down too, because this really had, yeah, the sentiment of we all want to be loved better in a relationship, and I really dug this one too, and really thought this was one of your best pieces of work. I like everything you do. I'm not just saying that. I really believe in you as an artist so much, but these songs really hit me in a way that I can really kind of connect to them, and that's the way we're talking about there through songwriting. What was kind of that backstory of Love Me Better?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would say that that was one of the songs that I never really went in with like a personal thing going into the writing session. But I feel like as I grow and as I date and as I just do life, I find myself connecting to these songs maybe that I didn't have a story behind at the beginning in ways that I never thought that I did. Right. Like
Hmm.
you said, everyone wants to be loved and treated good.
Hmm.
So like, it's just lyrics that sticks with everyone, and yeah, it's interesting how you grow as a person, how you connect to these things
Hmm.
differently as you grow.
Let's kind of go a different direction here. What do you feel like some of the biggest challenges you face as an artist in the pop industry? Give me some of those.
Oh, I would say there's quite a lot. I would say one of the biggest ones has been being from a little small town. It's not a town, it's a city, but in comparison to like LA and Nashville, it's a town. And there not being much pop music here. Like it's very
Hmm.
isolating. Nobody, and like my industry isn't a thing here. Like
Yeah.
it's a very strange industry to most people here, and and it makes it hard. It makes it hard to obviously keep motivated and keep doing those things. So I, as I've grown in my career and through the years, I've prioritized keeping my friends that are in other cities in the same industry as me close, whether they're my genre or not, because it's important to have those connections to keep you going. And I would say that's probably one of the most difficult things I've experienced personally.
Hmm. I love another song you put out there too, and I cover all my bases here. I leave no stones unturned here on the show when I listen to a lot of tracks and a lot of music. This was 2022, I believe, and this may have been written probably before. Unsinned was a song
Yes.
that again I connected to a lot of ways, and everybody has their own different ways to listen to a song and resonate with a song.
Yeah.
Where did this one come from, and kind of a little bit of the fun putting this one together?
Yeah, I mean, that was one that I wrote a while back, and but it's one of the songs that have stuck with me like since the start, like since I wrote it. Like I love that song. I always have loved that song. I've loved how like magical it is, especially as it grows into like the last chorus, the bridge and the chorus. It yeah it is basically just explaining the story of you being in this relationship, and sometimes you say these things that you just wish that you could unsend and didn't share with that person.
Yeah. And again, I feel that from we all do past experiences and breaking down a tune, really listening to it, really kind of just connecting with that song. And that's what
Yeah.
it does. Well, again, the single is Pretending. Make sure you guys go check that out. It came out there early March 3rd, I believe, was when the drop
Yes.
date was for you too as well. See, you got to I tell people to do one of these things, you've got to do your homework. You've got to be precise and upfront, and you've got to really understand. Because I get questions like this all the time. How do you do this? How do you put this on? What do you do? I'm like, listen to your artist, listen to your music, and read your information and connect with people. And that's a big thing out there. March 3rd, it did drop. I've been jamming it in my head all day long. I love this single, and I'm looking forward to just having Shayla on every time we get a chance to as well, because I'm getting more appreciative of pop music now and understanding what it's all about, because it is a completely different industry compared to the countryside of things there too as well. We're going to take a quick time out for our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, of course, Gentle Ben Spirits, and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. Don't forget, May 19th, Randall King will be out there too. He's on Warner Music Nashville. Looking forward to connecting with Randall again. He came on promoting the show last week, and then he's going to play one of the oldest dance halls, might be the oldest dance hall in Texas, called Green Hall in New Braunfels, the weekend of Memorial Day, Saturday the 27th. So get out there, get your tickets now, wherever you find Green Hall. And, of course, honkytonktexas.us in Silsbee for the show on May 19th. More with Shayla, including Rapid Fire coming up here on the Backstage Pass. So she's got me excited. I'm just like shaking because Shayla and I have been talking about some things I'm not going to announce on the air, to be announced at a later date, but it's a cool thing out there when artists can support you as much as you support them. We're going to take a quick time out here on the show. Last time out, come back with a rapid fire. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And again, our thanks to Morgan Miles. She came on earlier today to talk a lot about what's going on in her world. Some big shows for her. Check out morganmileslive.com for tickets for shows in Ohio coming up this weekend. Quick timeout. We're back in a flash. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. Back here with Shayla Soulier on the Backstage Pass, again powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com and presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, our friends at Honky Tonk Texas, and Gentle Ben Spirits. The current single, Pretending, is a jam and definitely will give you a great vibe. And go get it across all the digital platforms or wherever you subscribe to music out there too as well. Soon to be Los Angeles, Shayla Soulier coming up.
That is the thing. I feel like this is something that I have been holding on to for a very long time. And it doesn't even feel real that I can talk about it right now. So,
well, I look forward to, like I said, telling people some announcements coming up here too as well. And definitely, you got me shaking in the boots, the old country saying too as well, which is exciting because I'm about to take a little new chapter in my career from the music side of things. Looking forward to announcements to come. I'm like you, it feels surreal when you start thinking about it too, but it's always a lot of fun there too at the same time too. All right, I'll have a little fun and do some rapid fire here because I love doing this. Last show or shows to get into to binge watch. What did you enjoy on television?
oh my gosh, this will be so embarrassing, but like Too Hot to Handle or like Love is Blind.
I've heard people say trash TV a lot for like the last few days of like what they're getting into or like different mystery shows or
Yeah.
trash TV, whatever. So,
Yeah, I would say those are mine. I feel like, and a lot of them I've watched
Mhm.
already, and I just like watch on like replay them and stuff because I don't know, just keep something on in the background while I'm working and like doing things, but something I don't have to pay too much attention to.
no doubt. All right, give me your last song listened to on one of your devices or streaming, what's the last song you listened to on the? I was gonna say iPod, but that's too old for these days.
On the iPod.
Yeah, that's old. Yes, I'm an old person now, but iPad, whatever device, the last song you listened to or streamed. That wasn't
Yeah,
yours.
I mean, I have been listening to this artist named Jordy. He just released an album called Boy, and I've had his album on repeat for like the last week or so, and yeah, I'm just not getting sick of it.
Well, it's like your song will just keep looping, pretending over and over again. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing when you keep repeating it over and over again. All right, your top 2 or 3 favorite albums of all time.
Oh, of all time? Oh man.
Or I guess recently, or if there's one that kind of did it
Well,
for you.
okay, I'll say Jordy's Boy because like I've
All right.
been obsessing about that one.
Mhm.
I really dig Tate McRae's last album, and of course some Lennon Stella. Lennon Stella is like amazing.
I love that. All right, so you need to think for a second, but then she gets it out there. All
Yes.
time is tough, no doubt about it. Too, it's just really good out there. I tell you what, I'm digging right now is really getting into some Foreigner, going back to the Scorpions, some of the rock stuff I grew up on, AC/DC. It's just cool to bring back some of the classics, right? Everybody needs
Totally.
that.
And I love all
So-
the classics too. Like I love me some Michael Jackson. Like, oh, his music was so good.
Get out there. All right, I went out to LA twice in the last 10 years or so, recently in 2019. Really cool sushi, and I'm big on that when it comes to like the little poke bowls. And I went down to Venice Beach. I'm gonna tell you one of the closest places to go there. I can't remember the name of it, but on Venice Beach, if it's still there, and I have no reason to think it wouldn't be. But they make it for you, throw some tuna in it. I guess 2-part here. 1, are you a sushi fan? And then 2, would you do a poke bowl on Venice Beach? Is that something that kind of is up your alley?
Hell yeah and hell yeah.
I didn't know if you were into sushi. I had no idea. So
Yes, I love sushi. So good.
we'll get
I don't
down to
have it very
Venice
often,
Beach.
but when I do quite enjoy it.
You gotta enjoy it. We'll get down to Venice Beach, and I can't remember. I mean, it's right there on one of the walkways. And if I could Google some Venice Beach sushi places, but my God, it was some of the best I've eaten. I got to ask one of my buddies. He had a taco place down there that we went for like a Taco Tuesday. So when you get there, I'm about to get the place from him. He recently moved back to San Antonio, but he's got a taco place there that was killer, man. And I'm gonna say this: best guacamole I ever had in my life.
Oh, just the best Mexican food out in California. Probably because they're so close to Mexico, but like, so good.
The only thing I compared it to was being down here in San Antonio, Texas, where San Antonio's known for some of the great restaurants and Mexican restaurants here too. It was it's hard to say what was better, but I'll say that, like you said, because they're so close to Mexico too at the same time, that LA's Mexican food and San Antonio's not where I live here in my small hometown of Texas, but you got to go like 5 hours to go get the good stuff.
Right. Quite the drive.
It's worth the drive. No doubt about it. All right. Performing just seems to be in your blood. What do you enjoy most about performing and just being on stage? Because for me and the things that I've seen, and you're very vibrant. You bring it all. You kind of bring a house down. Obviously, you love singing, but you got tremendous stage presence. And I know you. What is the best part of performing?
Oh, I love the energy. I just feel like I don't know. Even when I'm not on stage and I'm just at shows, I'm like, I just crave being on that stage. Like, I love the energy. I love sharing my music, obviously, with the world, and like just seeing them connect with it. You know, obviously you release music all the time, but you don't actually get to see your fans physically connect with it. So it's cool. It's cool to see and just be able to like party with all the people that support me.
No doubt. All right. Favorite toppings on a pizza? It's just for Shayla. What toppings are you getting on your pizza?
I feel like I'm going to be very hated for this, but I am a pineapple on pizza kind of gal. So like ham and pineapple, like an all dressed. I do like myself a pepperoni pizza too. I'm really not picky. Pizza is like bomb. And
It is. And I recently just put that on there, tried the Hawaiian with the Canadian bacon on the actual, I was surprised. I had not tried it in years until a few weeks ago. And we ordered one night, and I was a little surprised. Sweet, salty flavor to it. And I said, you can't knock it till you try it. Of course, I probably had knocked it in the past, but I didn't care at the time. But I did try it, and pineapple on pizza. The one thing I don't like is mushrooms. Can't do. I'm not a mushroom fan.
In general, or just on pizza?
In general, man. Something about it's like, I guess it's kind of like how you want your steak at a restaurant. So you got to have texture and cooked a certain way, like a hamburger or something like that. But I will tell you this: when I went up there to Canada a few years ago on the west side and got out to Edmonton to see some friends up there, boy, it didn't take long for poutine to become one of my favorite dishes. I'm just
you like
yes,
poutine?
I'm sold.
I like poutine, but I feel maybe just because I grew up around it, I'm just
Mhm.
like I don't crave a poutine. I don't know, like and when I eat it, I always think it's a good idea going in, and then I'm like 3 bites in, and I'm just like I feel like the biggest bag of poop. Like
Well, I tell you what I dig most about it. It was just the actual fries, and it was I'm not a big cheese person or dairy in my
yeah,
well, say semi diet, whatever. I don't diet, but whatever I want to eat type thing. Just watch the calories. But the fries were good, and the brown gravy, just plain fries and brown gravy. That's not poutine. I know that, but that was my favorite thing out of it. I couldn't stand cheese curds and all that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
although I did try it, but the fries, just plain fries and brown gravy, was my.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
was
I
just good.
like gravy. I like gravy.
It was just
I do
good.
like my fries just on their own too with some ketchup. That sounds good too.
That too. Well, I tell you what, we got some huge announcements coming up. I know you and I are going to be working together in capacity, and looking forward to it. I really can't thank you enough for the opportunity, and looking forward to seeing you get out to LA, do your thing. These songs we've talked about today are all downloadable across all the digital platforms. Go get the new single "Pretending"
Yeah.
across all the digital platforms. We'll have more news together from me and you, and working together over the next few months and the rest
And
of
if you're in
23.
Canada, you can hear the song on Canadian radio. So go
Yes.
request it at your radio stations.
Please do, because once you do and you turn it up, it won't be turned off. Trust me, it's got that kind of a groove and a vibe to it too as well, where you'll listen to it over and over again. So yes, Canadian radio. Call the stations and make sure you guys request it if they don't have it already, and love it so much. Hey, thanks so much for coming back on and doing this with me. I really admire what you stand for as an artist, your perseverance, your genuine touch, and really you really put a lot of your heart and soul into your music. And so thank you for always thinking of me and being on this platform. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for creating the platform for us to come on to, because we need people like you.
Well, I guess there's more out there that love music, but when I say I love music, I love a lot of music that I listen to weekly. I must go through several hundreds of tracks to put this thing together too as well. Don't forget tomorrow, Craig Wayne Boyd from The Voice, back in the day, of course, one of the big country artists doing his thing out there. And then from The Voice, I'm going to do another side of pop this week. Top 20 American Idol, top 20 this past season. Olivia Solie is going to come by. She was just on Idol this past year, made the top 20, and she's got a new record out called Tulum, which is fantastic. And you see that you get one great pop star like Shayla, it starts to transcend into other great pop stars out there too as well. So we'll do that on Friday. Of course, take the weekend off and come back next week. Thanks to the sponsors. Go give her a like out there across social media. Shayla Soulier, I was going to say .com, but I have a website out there. But Shayla Soulier and Pretending is the current single too as well. I know there will be a website probably in the future. So
there is a website out there. So it's literally just ShaylaSoulier.com.
I did hit the nail on the head. Okay, I did.
There'll be lots of stuff coming up on that website. I'm playing a show in Toronto in June, so I'll be announcing that as well. So on there. So.
All right. A lot of cool things to announce, no doubt, too, as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Backstage Pass with Craig Wayne Boyd. Thanks to our sponsors. Go give her a like out there across all the digital platforms, and go grab Pretending wherever you download or stream music. We appreciate you guys being with us here on the Texas Two-Step today, and we're back at it tomorrow. Craig Wayne Boyd just come off the Rock the Coast cruise, and some new music coming out in his camp. Excited to welcome him to the show. And then Friday, Olivia Solie coming on the show here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Some great sports shows coming up over the next few weeks. Stay tuned for that. More football talk, baseball talk coming up. Former Cincinnati Reds pitcher Bronson Arroyo is going to join us here to talk about some music and the state of Major League Baseball in the next couple of weeks. And he actually won a World Series ring with the Boston Red Sox in 2004. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more here on the show. Until then, have a great night. We'll see you soon. Take care.